Imagine this. You are walking down a long, dusty road. You have no money in your pocket. You have no home to go to. The sun is hot. Your feet are tired. You feel very small in a big world. Most people would feel fear. Most people would give up. But this man did not give up. He was just a boy from a small city. He did not go to a famous school. He did not have rich parents. In fact, his life started with great sadness. But today, we know his name. His ideas changed the world. His words helped start revolutions. His thoughts changed how we understand freedom. His name was Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Welcome to this story. As you listen, notice the new words. Do not worry if you do not understand everything. Just listen to the flow of the story. This story helps you improve your listening skills. It also helps you learn about life. Today, we will travel back in time. We will walk the paths he walked. We will feel the feelings he felt. We will see his hope. We will see his fear. We will see his dreams. Are you ready? Let us begin. Chapter 1. The Boy Who Lost His Mother Before He Knew Her. Our story starts in the year 1712. The place is Geneva. Geneva is a beautiful city. It has lakes, it has mountains. It is quiet and peaceful. In this city, a baby was born. His name was Jean-Jacques. But this birth was not happy. It was full of pain. When Jean-Jacques was born, his mother died. Think about this moment. The baby opened his eyes for the first time, but his mother was gone. She never held him. She never sang to him. She never smiled at him. This is a heavy burden for a child. He grew up knowing he caused her death. Many people said this to him. They said, "You killed your mother." Can you imagine how a little boy feels hearing this? He felt guilt. He felt sadness. He felt alone. His father was a watchmaker. His name was Isaac. Isaac loved his son. But Isaac was also very sad. He missed his wife. Sometimes, Isaac would talk about his wife to little Jean-Jacques. He would cry. This made the boy feel even more pain. But there was one good thing. Isaac loved books. He loved stories. In the evenings, the father and son would sit together. They would read books by the light of a candle. Picture this moment. It is night. The city is quiet. Inside the small house, there is a father and a son. They are reading about knights. They are reading about heroes. They are reading about love and adventure. Jean-Jacques did not go to school like other children. He learned from these books. He learned from his father. He learned to love words. He learned to love ideas. But this peace did not last. When Jean-Jacques was 10 years old, his father had a problem. Isaac had a fight with a rich man. It was a legal problem. Isaac was afraid. He did not want to go to jail. So, Isaac made a hard choice. He left Geneva. He left his son behind. Think about this. A 10-year-old boy. His mother is dead. Now, his father is gone. He is completely alone. He went to live with his uncle. His uncle was kind, but it was not the same. It was not his home. This early life shaped him. He learned that life is fragile. He learned that people you love can leave you. He learned that the world can be unfair. As you listen to this part of the story, notice the words about family and loss. These are important words in English. Family, mother, father, home, alone. Jean-Jacques was a sensitive boy. He felt things deeply. When he was happy, he was very happy. When he was sad, he was very sad. This sensitivity would become his strength later. But for now, it was just pain. He spent his days wandering around Geneva. He looked at the nature. He looked at the trees. He looked at the sky. He felt more comfortable with nature than with people. People hurt him. Nature was quiet. Nature did not judge him. This love for nature became a big part of his life. He believed that nature was good. He believed that people were good when they were close to nature. But when people lived in big cities, they became bad. This was his first big idea. It started when he was just a lonely boy walking by the lake. He was not a strong child. He was often sick. He was thin. He did not play sports with other boys. He preferred to dream. He preferred to imagine. Imagine being 10 years old and having no parents. What would you do? Would you be brave? Would you be scared? Jean-Jacques was both. He was scared, but he had a fire inside him. He wanted to find his place in the world. He wanted to find meaning. His uncle tried to help him. He sent Jean-Jacques to learn a skill. In those days, children did not stay in school for long. They learned to trade. They learned to make things. Jean-Jacques tried to learn to be a clerk. A clerk writes papers for lawyers. He did not like it. He was too slow. He was too dreamy. Then he tried to learn to be an engraver. An engraver cuts designs into metal. This was hard work. The master was strict. The master was often angry. Jean-Jacques felt trapped. He felt like a bird in a cage. He wanted to fly. He wanted to be free. But he was just a boy with no money and no power. This chapter of his life was full of loss. But it was also full of learning. He learned to read. He learned to feel. He learned to observe the world. He was building his mind, even if his heart was breaking. Chapter 2. Running Away into the Unknown Dark. When Jean-Jacques was 16 years old, he could not take it anymore. The work was too hard. The master was too cruel. He felt he had no future in Geneva. He made a big decision. He decided to run away. Picture this moment. It is Sunday. The city gates are open. Jean-Jacques walks out of the city. He does not look back. He has a small bag. He has a little bit of money. He does not know where he is going. This is a very dangerous thing to do. He is young. He is inexperienced. The world outside Geneva is big and unknown. There are bad people. There are thieves. There is hunger. He walked for days. He slept in fields. He ate when he could find food. He felt fear, but he also felt excitement. For the first time, he was free. No master told him what to do. No uncle told him where to sleep. He arrived in a place called Annecy. He was tired and hungry. He needed help. He heard about a kind woman there. Her name was Madame de Warens. Meeting Madame de Warens was a turning point. She was older than him. She was rich. She was kind. She took him in. She gave him food. She gave him a bed. She treated him like a son. But later, their relationship became more complex. She became his mentor. She became his friend. She became his lover. For Jean-Jacques, this was safety. He stayed with her for some time. She sent him to a school for converts. She wanted him to learn religion. She wanted him to have a better life. But Jean-Jacques was not good at studying rules. He was good at thinking. He liked to walk. He liked to look at the flowers. He liked to listen to the birds. Madame de Warens sent him to Turin in Italy. He hoped to find work there. But things did not go well. He worked as a servant. He hated being a servant. He had to wear a uniform. He had to obey orders. He felt small again. He quit his job. He was on the streets again. He begged for food. He sold things. He lived a hard life. He learned about the poor people. He saw how society treated the weak. He saw how the rich people ignored the poor. This experience was important. It gave him empathy. Empathy means understanding how other people feel. Because he was poor, he understood the poor. Because he was powerless, he understood the powerless. He eventually went back to Madame de Warens. She welcomed him again. This time, he stayed longer. He studied music. He loved music. He wanted to be a musician. He wrote some songs. He wrote some operas. But he was not a great musician. He was good, but not famous for music. During these years, he read many books. He read about philosophy. Philosophy is the study of ideas about life and truth. He read about Locke. He read about Descartes. He started to form his own ideas. He began to write. He wrote about his feelings. He wrote about his life. He did not know it yet, but he was preparing for his future. Think about this time in his life. It was a time of wandering. He was like a leaf in the wind. He had no direction. He made many mistakes. He was not perfect. He sometimes stole small things. He sometimes lied. He was trying to survive. As you listen, notice the words about movement and change. Run away. Arrive. Stay. Leave. Wander. These are action words. They show his life was not still. It was moving. He was 29 years old. He still had no real job. He still had no money. Many people would say he was a failure. He was almost 30. He had no family. He had no career. But he had something else. He had a mind that never stopped working. He had a heart that never stopped feeling. He was waiting for his moment. He decided to go to Paris. Paris was the center of the world for ideas. If you wanted to be a writer, you went to Paris. If you wanted to be known, you went to Paris. He walked to Paris. Again, he walked. He loved walking. He said his best ideas came when he walked. The rhythm of his feet helped his mind think. In Paris, he met new people. He met writers. He met thinkers. He met a man named Diderot. Diderot was smart and famous. He became Jean-Jacques' friend. Jean-Jacques worked as a secretary. He copied papers for other people. It was boring work, but it gave him time to think. He lived in a small room. It was cold in the winter. It was hot in the summer. He met a woman named Thérèse Levasseur. She was a servant. She was not educated. She was simple, but she was kind to him. She took care of him. They became partners. They lived together for many years. They had 5 children. This is a sad part of the story. Jean-Jacques was poor. He believed he could not be a good father. He believed the children would have a better life in an orphanage. So, he gave all 5 children away to a foundling hospital. This was a common thing to do at that time for poor people. But later, Jean-Jacques felt great guilt about this. He wrote about education and children, but he had abandoned his own. This shows he was human. He was not a perfect hero. He had flaws. He made mistakes. This makes his story real. He was struggling. He was writing, but no one read his work. He was invisible. He was just another poor man in a big city. He felt forgotten. But fate was preparing something big. A chance event was coming. It would change everything. Chapter 3. The Walk That Changed History. The year was 1749. Jean-Jacques was 37 years old. He was visiting his friend Diderot. Diderot was in prison. The king did not like Diderot's ideas. So, Diderot was locked up in a castle called Vincennes. Jean-Jacques walked to visit him. It was a hot summer day. The road was long. As he walked, he picked up a magazine. It was an old magazine. He started to read it while he walked. He read a question. It was a question for a contest. The question was simple but deep. It asked, "Have the sciences and arts made people better?" Think about this question. Science means knowledge. Arts mean painting, music, and writing. Usually, people say yes. People say knowledge makes us good. People say culture makes us civilized. But as Jean-Jacques read this, he felt a shock. It was like lightning hit him. He stopped walking. He sat under a tree. He began to cry. He was shaking. He had a sudden idea. A powerful idea, he thought. No, science and arts do not make us better. They make us worse. He believed that nature makes us good, but society corrupts us. When we live in cities, we become jealous. We become greedy. We care about what people think. We wear masks. We are not honest. This idea was revolutionary. It was dangerous. It went against everyone. It went against the kings. It went against the church. It went against the rich people. But Jean-Jacques felt it was the truth. He felt it in his bones. He wrote an essay. He wrote it quickly. He put all his passion into it. He sent it to the contest. He did not expect to win. He thought people would laugh at him. But something amazing happened. He won. He won the first prize. Overnight, he became famous. Before this, he was nobody. Now, everyone talked about him. People in Paris wanted to meet him. People wanted to hear what he said. Imagine this change. One day, you are invisible. The next day, you are famous. It is a lot of pressure. Jean-Jacques did not like the fame. He was a simple man. He liked simple clothes. He liked quiet rooms. But now, people wanted him to wear fancy clothes. They wanted him to go to parties. They wanted him to act like a rich man. He felt uncomfortable. He felt like he was acting a role. He decided to change his life to match his ideas. If he believed simplicity was good, he would live simply. He gave away his sword. He gave away his fancy watch. He stopped wearing wigs. In those days, rich men wore white wigs on their heads. Jean-Jacques wore his own hair. He wore simple clothes like a worker. People talked about this. Some people admired him. They said he was honest. Some people hated him. They said he was a hypocrite. They said he was just pretending. This caused conflict. He started to lose friends. Some people felt judged by his simple life. If Jean-Jacques was good because he was simple, then they were bad because they were rich. He did not care. He wanted to be true to himself. This is a hard thing to do. It is easy to follow the crowd. It is hard to stand alone. As you listen, notice the words about change and conflict. Famous, prize, conflict, honest, pretending. These words describe his new life. He started to write more. He wrote about music. He wrote about politics. He wrote about education. Every word he wrote caused a reaction. Some people loved him. Some people wanted to destroy him. He was no longer just a writer. He was a thinker. He was a philosopher. But he never called himself that. He called himself a man who loved the truth. This period was his rise. He had power now. Not the power of a king, but the power of an idea. His ideas were spreading like fire. People whispered his name in the streets. They read his books in secret. He felt strong. He felt he had a purpose. He was no longer the lonely boy from Geneva. He was the voice of a new age. But with power comes danger. When you challenge the way things are, people fight back. Jean-Jacques was walking into a storm. He did not know how big the storm would be. Chapter 4. Voices that shook kings. Jean-Jacques was not finished. The first prize was just the beginning. He had more to say. He wanted to explain his ideas fully. He wrote 2 very important books. These books changed history. The first book was called Exile. This book was about education. It was about how to raise a child. Jean-Jacques said, we should not force children to learn facts. We should let them learn from nature. We should let them be children. We should protect their goodness. This was a new idea. Before this, children were treated like small adults. They were punished hard. Jean-Jacques said children are precious. They need love. They need freedom. The second book was called The Social Contract. This book was about government. It was about power. He wrote a famous sentence. It is one of the most famous sentences in history. He wrote, "Man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains." Think about this sentence. It is simple, but it is very powerful. It means we are born with freedom, but society puts rules on us. Laws put rules on us. Kings put rules on us. He asked a big question. How can we live together and still be free? He said the power should come from the people, not from the king, not from God, from the people. This idea was dangerous. Kings did not like this. Rich people did not like this. They said, if the people have power, there will be chaos. They said Jean-Jacques was a troublemaker. But the common people loved this idea. They were poor. They were treated badly. They wanted hope. Jean-Jacques gave them hope. He told them they mattered. He told them their voice was important. These books were published in 1762. They caused a huge explosion of ideas. In France, the government banned the books. They said the books were illegal. They ordered the police to burn the books. They also ordered the police to arrest Jean-Jacques. Imagine this. You write the truth. You try to help people, and the government says you are a criminal. You have to run for your life. Jean-Jacques had to flee Paris. He left in the middle of the night. He was scared. He did not know where to go. He went to Switzerland. But even in Switzerland, people were angry at him. Some people threw stones at his house. He was alone again. But this time, he was not a boy. He was a famous man. And he was being hunted. He moved from place to place. He lived in different cities. He used fake names. He was always looking over his shoulder. He was always afraid. This fear affected his mind. He started to feel paranoid. Paranoid means you think everyone is against you. He thought his friends were spying on him. He thought people were plotting to hurt him. Some of this was true. There were people who wanted to silence him, but some of it was in his mind. The stress was too much. He continued to write. He wrote his autobiography. He called it Confessions. In this book, he told everything. He told his good deeds. He told his bad deeds. He told about the children he gave away. He told about his fears. He said, "I am not better than anyone, but I am different. I am honest." He wanted the world to know the real Jean-Jacques, not the famous writer, not the enemy of the king, just the man. This book was very brave. No one had written like this before. Usually, people only wrote about their successes. Jean-Jacques wrote about his failures. He wrote about his shame. This made people connect with him. They saw themselves in him. They saw their own struggles in his struggles. As you listen, notice the words about books and ideas. Education, government, freedom, truth. These are heavy words. They carry weight. His influence was growing. Even though he was running away, his words were traveling faster than him. Young people read his books. They talked about freedom. They talked about rights. In America, people read Rousseau. They used his ideas to fight for independence. In France, people read Rousseau. They used his ideas to fight the king. He did not see the revolutions. He did not see the changes. But he planted the seeds. He was the gardener. He planted the seeds of freedom. Others would harvest the fruit. He had success. He had power. But it cost him everything. He had no home. He had no peace. He had no safety. This is the tragedy of many great thinkers. They see the truth. But the world is not ready for the truth. The world fights back. Jean-Jacques kept walking. He kept writing. He kept believing. He did not stop. Even when he was afraid, he did not stop. This is courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting even when you are afraid. Jean-Jacques had courage. Chapter 5. The Price of Truth and a Quiet End. The last years of Jean-Jacques Rousseau were hard. He was an old man now. He was tired. His body was weak. His mind was full of worry. He felt that the whole world was against him. He wrote a book called Reveries of the Solitary Walker. In this book, he talked about walking alone. He talked about finding peace in nature. He realized he could not fight the world anymore. He decided to stop fighting. He decided to just be. He found a small place to live. It was near Paris. It was called a Manonville. A kind marquis let him stay there. It was a quiet place. There were trees. There was a lake. Jean-Jacques loved it there. He spent his days copying music. He loved copying music. It was simple work. It calmed his mind. He collected plants. He studied nature. He was far from the noise of Paris. He was far from the enemies. He was finally finding some peace. But his health was failing. He had problems with his bladder. He had pain. He knew he was dying. One morning, in July 1778, he felt very sick. He knew this was the end. He was 66 years old. He called his wife, Thérèse. She had been with him for many years. She had stayed with him through the fame. She had stayed with him through the fear. She had stayed with him through the running. He said goodbye to her. He was calm. He was not afraid of death. He had lived a full life. It was a hard life, but it was his life. He died quietly. There were no crowds. There were no kings. There was no fame in that room. Just a man and his wife. He was buried on an island in the lake. It was a peaceful place, just like he wanted. But his story did not end there. After he died, his fame grew even bigger. The French Revolution happened 11 years later. The leaders of the revolution loved Rousseau. They saw him as a hero. They moved his body. They put him in a famous place in Paris. They honored him like a king. But he never wanted to be a king. He just wanted to be free. What is his legacy? What did he leave behind? He left behind the idea that people are important. He left behind the idea that children should be loved. He left behind the idea that nature is good for the soul. He taught us to listen to our hearts. He taught us to question authority. He taught us that being simple is okay. Of course, He was not perfect. He made mistakes. He hurt people. He abandoned his children. He had moments of paranoia. He was human. But his humanity is why we remember him. If he was perfect, he would be like a statue. We cannot connect with a statue. We connect with a person who struggles. His life teaches us many lessons. First, truth is important. Even if the truth is hard, speak it. Even if people disagree, stay true to yourself. Second, simplicity is valuable. We live in a world of noise. We live in a world of things. Rousseau reminds us to look at the trees, to look at the sky, to look inside ourselves. Third, struggle is part of life. Jean-Jacques suffered a lot. He was lonely. He was poor. He was chaste. But he created beautiful things from his pain. Your pain can become your purpose. As you listen to this final part, notice the words about ending and legacy. Peace, honor, lesson, truth. These words close the story. Do you feel alone sometimes? Do you feel like the world does not understand you? Jean-Jacques felt that too. You are not alone. Do you have a dream that seems impossible? Jean-Jacques was a servant. He became a legend. Nothing is impossible if you keep going. Do you feel pressure to be like everyone else? Remember Rousseau in his simple clothes. Remember him walking alone. It is okay to be different. It is okay to walk your own path. His story is a mirror. When you look at his life, you see parts of yourself. You see your own fears. You see your own hopes. This story helps you improve your listening skills. You heard many past tense verbs. You heard many descriptive words. You heard a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Keep listening to stories like this. Your English will grow. Your mind will grow. Jean-Jacques Rousseau's life was a journey. It was a journey from sadness to fame. It was a journey from fear to peace. He showed us that one person can change the world. You do not need to be rich. You do not need to be powerful. You just need to have a voice. You just need to have courage. Maybe you will not write books. Maybe you will not start revolutions. But you can live your truth. You can be kind. You can be honest. You can make a difference in your own way. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope it touched your heart. I hope it helped your English. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video. It helps us make more stories. Please share it with a friend who loves history or learning English. And please subscribe to our channel. We have many more stories for you. Now, I want to ask you something. Think about this question. It is about your life. What is one dream you will not give up on, even when it is hard? Think about your answer. Maybe it is learning a language. Maybe it is starting a business. Maybe it is helping your family. Write your answer in the comments below. I read the comments. I want to know your dream. Many people will watch this video, but only a few will comment. Be one of them. Your voice matters. Just like Rousseau's voice mattered. Thank you for being here. Stay brave, stay true, and keep learning. Until next time, goodbye.